So I've got the little Duke audio valve amp here, upside down. I'm not actually doing anything to the amp. I've got some, I just needed another pair of 6 V6 GTs. These are the Russian variant, the 6P6S, but these are from 10th 67, so October 1967. So, what was that, 77, 87, 97, 2007? So they've been sat for 53 years unused. So I disconnect the HT, ran the heaters for 10 minutes just to get the cathodes up to temperature, really let them settle in before applying the HT. So I am seeing, you focus on that, seeing how well they're performing. So here's the thing. Come across the cathodes. If I get everything in shot, so pin 8 is the cathode. See, one of these 19.3 volts, 18.1. Well, the other valves, the ones that have been plenty used and are working fine, are all. So in this circuit, these valves should set at about 18.3. If I go onto the lower scale, let's find the control grid, pin 5. So you can see 370 millivolts. Well, that should be close to zero. It's quite high resistance in the grids, and they are power valves. So you see, we can actually go down the scale on the other ones. So that one which was running fine, I'm getting a lot of glare there. Come on, phone. See, 53 millivolts. There's going to be some fluctuations. Stupid glare, man. Oh yeah, look, these other valves which are fine. You know, there is some. There's some voltage being developed across the grid leak. It fluctuates, but it's nothing to worry about. It's a power valve. It's bound to happen. But yeah, the one with the higher cathode voltage is, you can see that's quite high. Now, that actually started off at nearly a volt. And I found this before with valves, and I've watched YouTube videos where people have an old radio or whatever, they fired it up. They've measured that there's a voltage on the grid, they've ascertained that the coupling cap isn't leaking, they've pulled the valve out, the voltage has gone down, they've gone, that valve's knackered, chuck it. Well, not so. These have been sat for a long time. These are the ones I've pulled out of it. Look, these are from 1980. Well, these need to run at a vacuum. There's a material inside called the getter which absorbs excess gas. Well, that is only really properly active when the valve is hot. And likewise as well, outgassing from the internal structures of the valve only happens when it's hot. So it's been sat, what did I say, 40 odd years, 50 odd years, I can't remember now. It's bad when you can't take 67 for 50 years, isn't it? 40 for a year, whatever it is, I don't know. I'm going to have to work it out now. It's just annoying me. 77, 87, 97, 2000, 2007, 53 years. So in 53 years, not these ones, the ones that are in there, the getter, although it is partially active, won't really be absorbing a great amount of gas. And any gas that's still within the internal structures of the valves, or any gas molecules that have sort of found their way into the valve through the tiny micro holes in the seals, will be in there. You remember, a lot of people don't seem to understand, when you have a vacuum, it isn't pulling anything in. Air is mostly empty space with molecules of gas bumping around in it. The vacuum just means that if I crack this open, pressure equalizes, some molecules of air try to come in, others in there will hit them and bounce them out. Sometimes one will go in, never will bounce out, whatever. When it's in a vacuum, it's mostly empty, so it just means every now and then a molecule of gas will just maybe find its way past one of these pins, and as it gets near the seal or somewhere, there's just the tiniest micro hole. And it has to line up perfectly to get in. So that's even why, even if you don't have a perfect seal, it doesn't just mean it's going to go to air, because it's only occasionally that gas molecule is going to hit that at the perfect angle where it's going to bounce in and not just bounce off, actually get in there and then start bouncing around. So there's always generally some tiniest of tiny place gas can get in somewhere it just depends whether it's big enough for the gas molecules to actually get through, and you know how they can get into it. The world on the atomic level is interesting. So anyway, so as I was saying, yeah, you'll watch people write valves off saying, oh, this is gassy, look, it's got grid current, it's going into runaway. Well, you have to keep an eye on them. If it starts going into runaway, power down, put the thing in the oven at 100 degrees C for a couple of hours, try again. But I've generally found valves which start to look like they might be leaky or not particularly good, if you actually just put them in circuit, once you've ascertained they're not going to go into runaway, some are knackered, once you've ascertained, you know, keep your eye on it. So look, the cathode current is slowly dropping. It was over 20 when I originally started. Yeah, just put them in circuit and run them, and you'll generally find quite a few valves which most people would have happily chucked away. See, look, grid voltage is down. Let's turn the volume down. I'm seeing some AC modulation of the DC voltage. So yeah, it's lost 600 millivolts or so of grid voltage. So that valve is fine. It's just going to need a couple of hours for any gas or anything trapped still within the internal metal structure of the valve to slowly be outgassed, and any gas which has found its way in through the seal to slowly be absorbed by the getter. So just saying, don't always write your valves off just because they might seem to be a bit dodgy. For instance, I mean, valve testers I don't particularly like anyway. They're a handy tool for things like shorts, but they don't really run the valves anywhere near the kind of voltages and currents they will be in the actual circuit. I prefer something that puts them in the proper parameters they'll see when they're running. But you know, likewise on a valve tester that might have just shown up as grid leak. Someone's gone, nah, in the bin. Run them, let them wake up, run them, keep your eye on them, and then see what they do. So that's just my little video for today. As always, thanks for watching.